Come on in, pull up a chair, and take a load off because today I'll be reviewing and paging through the Symbaroum Advanced Player's Guide from Free League Publishing. Is this tome an invaluable reference for anyone interested in Symbaroum? Or is this just filled with a bunch of minutia that really doesn't bring any more excitement to your travels through Davokar? Well, you're going to find out right after this. Howdy, 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 gang. Welcome once again to the Duct Tape Studios. I'm Jeff McAleer, your host here at the Gaming Gang channel. As I mentioned in the open, I am going to be reviewing the Symbaroum Advanced Player's Guide in just a moment. But first, I do want to once again thank all the fine folks out there who have been sending along kind thoughts and prayers regarding my recent triple bypass surgery. Thank you so much. It is about 5 weeks in the rearview mirror. I'm feeling really good. Every once in a while, I'm a little off the ball, but for the most part, feeling really, really good. And the doctors have told me that I am way ahead of the curve as far as most people who want to go a triple bypass. So once again, thank you everyone for all those kind thoughts and prayers. They really, really are appreciated. All right, that said, today I am going to be reviewing the Symbaroum Advanced Player's Guide from Free League Publishing. It is written by Matthias Lilja and Matthias Johnson, with artwork provided by Martin Bergstrom. The 136-page hardcover is available from Free League Publishing for $34.56, and you can grab the PDF over at DriveThruRPG for $14.99. Do want to mention that the Gaming Gang is an affiliate of the One Bookshelf site, so if you are going to visit DriveThruRPG, please stop by thegaminggang.com first, click on one of our banner ads. That way, if you happen to make a purchase, I get a small portion of that sale. And all those nickels, dimes, and quarters really do help keep the Gaming Gang around. All right, let's swing on over to the other camera because here I've got the Symbaroum Advanced Player's Guide. Do want to mention the fine folks over at Free League Publishing were very kind to send this review copy along, but do want to mention that neither I nor anyone else affiliated with the Gaming Gang has received any other sort of compensation for me to share my thoughts about this book with you. These days, it's important that you know that. Let's take a look at the back of the book. I'm not going to read everything here, but I am going to give you a feel for what we're going to find inside. The Advanced Player's Guide expands on every aspect of the Player's Guide section in the Symbaroum core rulebook and is equally useful for players and game masters. The book is brimming with new races, occupations, abilities, powers, and rituals, also with lots of new equipment that will influence how the game is played. Moreover, if you take all optional rules in regard, along with its contribution to the expansion of the game world, it is hardly any doubt that the Advanced Player's Guide is a must for everyone who cannot wait to walk further into the shadowy halls of Davokar. Let's dive on in. So, do want to point out that we've got the cool bookmark like we see in just about every hardcover from Free League Publishing. So we're going to pop on in here. I'm not going to show off every single page. Do want to also mention that I am going to be staying picture in picture up here. So I will be cutting off a little bit of the left side of the book as we take a peek. I'm going to talk about who this is for, what I think of the book. Is this definitely worth picking up, or should you just take a pass? So we're jumping on in here. We've got a few pages going to explain what's in this book. What are you going to find? Kind of gives us a breakdown. So the vast majority of the material in here is player facing. In fact, I want to say all of it is really player facing, but all this material is also very useful for game masters as well. Some of it, I think personally, is a little more useful for game masters than it is for players. So we're going to have some new archetypes. So along with these archetypes, we have what are known as professions. And these professions are kind of advanced archetypes. So you won't start off normally as a beginning character. You wouldn't start off as one of these professions. You actually have to earn your way to that profession. So something else I want to mention is the thief has kind of been broken into two archetypes now. So we have the hunter, and then we have the rogue. So the rogue is more our traditional thief type character, whereas the hunter is kind of more along the lines of the ranger. So we're going to go through some new archetypes here. So as an example, the Iron Sworn is a profession. We've got the bounty hunter, got the monster hunter. So we've got the warrior. So the Templar is a profession for the warrior. We've got runesmiths, tattooed warrior, weapon master. The Wrathguard is also, once again, a profession. We've got the mystic. So the artifact crafter is a profession. The staff mage is a profession. So we've got the symbolist. You also have the troll singer. This is kind of a cool archetype for troll characters. And I do mention troll characters because we're going to have 5 new races that players can take on, including the trolls. So there we go. Here's that rogue that I was talking about. So we have the Queen Spy is the profession there. Former cultist, guild thief, sapper, gentleman thief is a profession. So we get into the races. So we're going to have 5 new races. So we've got the elf, we've got the abducted human, we've got undead, we've got the trolls, and we also have the dwarves. Kind of interestingly enough, 3 of those 5 races, the elves, the undead, and the trolls, are not really welcome in the game world. That could really bring up some pretty interesting adventures, though, especially if the game master was putting something together with where maybe everybody in the party was an elf or everybody in the party was a troll. Could be kind of interesting. So the abducted human is essentially a human who was taken as a child and was raised by elves. So we've got our dwarves. We've got the trolls. The trolls are actually very cool in this. And then we've got the undead as well. So we have traits. So we've got a couple of new traits that are available. Boons and burdens. It's essentially advantages and disadvantages. So we've got quite a few of these that are brand new. And I got to point out, and I am somebody who enjoys the like advantages and disadvantages in role-playing game systems. But got to be careful that the player characters don't take on too many of these, because it can just make things really wonky as far as trying to run the game. So game masters out there, try to I don't necessarily want to say put a limit on the boons and burdens that your player characters can take on, but keep in mind you don't want to see 5 of each on a player character. So we have new skills. So we have new abilities. We're going to have some new rituals as well. Altogether, we've got about 50 new abilities, which really does expand the number of abilities in the game itself. We've got like setting traps and disarming traps, staff magic. Now, once again, some of these are only available to specific archetypes or professions. So staff magic says only available to staff mages, which, as I already pointed out, the staff mage is a profession. So we've got a bunch of the new abilities here. Troll singing, obviously enough, would be for the troll singer. So we get into powers and rituals. So we've got quite a few new powers and rituals as well. There is a lot on offer in the Advanced Player's Guide. And I really like just about everything in here. One thing I will mention, there is not as much artwork in like per page count, I guess we'll say, as we saw in the core rulebook. And especially in the core rulebook, it's just a phenomenal looking book art-wise. Some of the artwork in here is new, but some of it is also recycled that we've seen before. So we talk about the tools. So we've got some optional rules, which if you think about it, in a role-playing game, every rule is optional. But we've got some new alternative rules that you can utilize to make the game a little crunchier. I know some people think that Symbaroum, for some, is a little rules light. I think the way the base game plays, I think it's a perfect mix of a little bit of crunch, a little bit of mechanics, but it's not overwhelming. But we do have some new rules as well. Then we have some new weapons and armor. We have some gunpowder weapons. So I found that kind of interesting that we start getting into like arquebuses, grenades. We've got new armor, new mystical qualities. And then we have an equipment section here, which, to be honest, I think will come in very, very handy because it's essentially prices for a lot of different stuff that we didn't have access to in the core rulebook. There we go. There's a discussion of traps and how much they would cost. Food, drink, musical equipment, musical instruments, trade goods. So, all in all, a really well presented and, in my opinion, very useful advanced player's guide. Then we get our index and character sheets. Character sheets, I guess I will say. And that is the Symbaroum Advanced Player's Guide. Let me swing on over to the other camera because I will share some final thoughts as well as my review score. I'm a fan of Symbaroum. I think it is a really nicely presented and interesting fantasy role-playing game. It's not super crunchy. It's not overwhelming as far as rule mechanics that players and game masters need to have in memory constantly. I do think the Advanced Player's Guide brings a lot more to the table. I think a lot of people are going to really get a bunch of use out of this resource. Is it for everybody out there? Well, no, obviously enough. You probably, if you've got a group of, say, 5 or 6 gamers who are playing Symbaroum, you just need a copy of the book. I mean, the reality is I've never understood, all the players in a group all needing to have, like, every splat book that came out for something. I just don't see things that way. I'm kind of the kind of person where it's like, hey, as long as you take care of my book, I will loan it to you if I get it back. But I think this is really, really well done. I like the new races. I like the new boons and burdens. The optional rules, pick and choose what you'd like. I thought those are pretty cool. I like the new professions. I think that's kind of cool as well, because now it gives some of the players of one archetype something to kind of plan for or to aspire for that character to become. I think that's pretty nice also. Something I do want to also mention, since I have reviews of the Game Master's Guide as well as the Monster Codex coming, those 2 books make reference to the Advanced Player's Guide. This came out first. I believe that this was the first supplement that was released for Symbaroum. So it's important to keep in mind that the Game Master's Guide and Monster Codex make reference to items that are in the Advanced Player's Guide, which is not unusual, but I do want to mention that as well. All right, at the end of the day, I certainly do recommend the Symbaroum Advanced Player's Guide. I think a lot of people are going to get a lot of use out of it. I wish there was more new artwork to it. I really do. It's not as inspiring to page through as, say, the core book did, with a lot of the really awesome art that really got your juices flowing. So on a scale of 1 to 10, I give Symbaroum Advanced Player's Guide a 9 out of 10. I heartily recommend it. All right, that is it for this time out. If you like this video, by all means, please give it a quick thumbs up. Subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel if you haven't already, and if you do subscribe, ding that bell. It'll not only let you know when I upload videos such as this review, it'll also tell you when my live stream, the Gaming Gang Dispatch, airs right here on YouTube, as I bring you the latest in tabletop gaming news and first look at said tabletop games. And of course, when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for all latest in gaming news, reviews, and a whole lot more. You know the drill. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. Once again, I am Jeff McAleer. Thank you so much for watching. And until I see you next time, here's hoping you have a lot of great gaming with your gang. Oh, you're still here. Well, while you're kicking it, how about subscribing to the Gaming Gang channel? Or seeing the latest episode of the Gaming Gang Dispatch? Or finding out what YouTube recommends you check out here at my channel? And of course, don't forget, get your geek on at thegaminggang.com.